In 1986, I supported the passage of the Immigration Reform and Control Act because there was ambiguity in our immigration laws at the time. And we had what was known as the Texas Proviso in our immigration laws that the agriculture industry had actually imposed back in 1952, which said anything that an employer does in his or her activity as an employer does not constitute harboring. So that if I were to hide my brother under the table, that's a federal offense. So you're harboring and he's an illegal immigrant. You're harboring an illegal immigrant. But if you hire 10,000 people to work in your factory or your fields as an employer, what you're doing is not illegal. So this was a Texas Proviso, which was sort of a yellow light saying that well, illegal immigrants are not supposed to be here. But if you happen to be here and you can get a job, someone to hire you, there's no penalty on the employer for doing this. And so why wouldn't the employer do it? And a pragmatic employer will. Again, it's not that employers are evil, but it's the fact they'll take advantage of opportunities and they'll create opportunities if they can. And so this set up a situation where employers were actively recruiting illegal immigrants or actively willing to employ illegal, especially in agriculture, and they could do it with impunity. So in 1986, we had a lot of people who were illegal immigrants, estimated maybe 3.5 million at the time, and back in the mid 1980s, and they were here. And so the idea was we're going to make it illegal in the future for employers to hire illegal immigrants by passing a system of employer sanctions that would penalize them for hiring illegal immigrants. But to do that, there was sort of a trade-off that you had to say, well, we've had a yellow light here for so long that we've got these 3 million people here. We really can't just send them all back. None of them develop roots. The traditional arguments about amnesty that they've been here for a while, and our laws were ambiguous. So it's partly our fault too that they're here, not just their fault that they took advantage of the opportunity with their own ambiguity. So there was a trade-off. The idea was that the amnesty would be a one-time thing, which I supported very strongly in 1986 as part of the bargain to get employer sanctions in place. And the Hesburgh Commission, the Select Commission on Immigration and Refugee Policy, that had recommended in 1981 this type of legislation. I've been testifying for it even earlier than that in favor of this type of arrangement of having employer sanctions and having an amnesty as a trade-off, warned that you shouldn't really give amnesty until you've actually proven that you can set up an enforcement mechanism and it's actually working. Then you do your amnesty. But the politics was we do it simultaneously, and the result was 3 million people became legalized or took advantage. About 2.8 million people took advantage of the opportunity for amnesty, and in the subsequent years there was no enforcement, or there was not resources or manpower put into the idea of actually making enforcement a reality. So we got the amnesty, and we never got enforcement, and consequently years later we now have here in 2012, 2013, 11 or 12 million illegal immigrants in the country, even though 20 years ago we were supposed to bring this all to an end. I do not favor another form of amnesty at this time. Having been fooled once, and fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to be fooled again. That until we have it in place and we have some experience of actually just taking seriously the enforcement of work sites, employer sanctions, and better border management to restrict entry of illegal immigrants, the flow of illegal immigrants, and some sort of visa tracking program to follow the visa abusers, I would be very reluctant to support another amnesty at this time.